Hey guys, Eitan, welcome back to my channel. So today let's talk about the time I lost in the appetizer round on Chopped on the Food Network. Yeah, that happened. For those of you who don't know, when I was 11 years old, I competed on the first ever kids episode of Chopped. This was before Chopped Junior, before that ever was a thing. It was to test, can they have kids in the kitchen? And your boy got out in the first round. Let's talk about it. It's been 5 years since I competed on Chopped. I'm 17 now, and an episode aired when I was 12, and we filmed when I was 11. It's been 5 years. I figured, you know what, it is time to address the truth about competing on Chopped. And let's just start way back to how did I get on Chopped? That's kind of probably the most common question that I ever get is how did I get on? And it's not that crazy. It's literally just someone forwarded us an email that Chopped was looking for kids to compete on their show, and I filled out an application. We definitely never thought I was actually get on it. We just kind of filled it out for fun. It was a lot of questions about cooking, about myself, and who does it like talking about themselves. So I filled it out and kind of just submitted it, never thinking we'd hear anything back. But we did. There were a bunch of follow-up phone calls. There was an in-person interview. And then they told us it would be a few weeks till I heard back. And I got a phone call that your boy made it on the show. And that's kind of the quick summarized version. I have to start off with that. I actually did sign an NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement when you go on the show. So I can't like talk about everything, but a lot of things. Okay, so that's how I got on the show, and yeah. After I got on the show, then they film what's called your bio package, which is where you watch the show. I think they actually might not do this anymore because it probably costs them a lot of money, but it's this part when you watch the show, see my episode, wherein you are being introduced. They show a little short video about you, so that they actually filmed at our house. They sent a whole camera crew to the house. It was probably like 3 to 4 cameramen, 2 sound guys, like 2-3 lighting guys, some producers, a director, and we filmed at my house. I'll put some pictures on the screen right over here. It was crazy to have like a whole production going on in our house. That was literally for like 20 seconds of the final show. They filmed here an entire day. It was crazy. So that was the first step, and then the next part was actually filming the show. Now you have to understand, until like we got that email and all the people were here, like we didn't really think this was happening. We're like, there's no chance. I was just like a normal kid, just like everyone else. I liked cooking. It was a hobby of mine. I didn't do anything like professionally with it. Chopped was just like, you know what, this is a cool thing. I may as well do it. So they filmed Chopped, not anymore, but they are switching their studios currently. But they used to film Chopped above Chelsea Market. And yeah, we live right by the city, so we drove in the city that day. Actually, they got us a hotel right around the corner so we can come in early in the morning. Each episode of Chopped that you see takes a full day and a little bit more to film. I know, a little crazy. So yeah, so we go there, we get onto set. They actually let us come the night before, I'm remembering. They came the night before, kind of got a tour of the set, got to lay the land, get comfortable with it. Then the next morning we came in and it was go time. They gave us our Chopped jackets, which I actually still have in my room. I'll put it up on the screen now. It's still in my room, hanging up on the wall, because, I don't know, it's like a fun memory. It's right there, actually, where I'm looking at it. And yeah, so we got all dressed, we got mic'd up, and I think the most common question I get is, do you know what the ingredients are beforehand? And you do not. The only difference I would say between on television and in real life is when you walk out there, you go sit there, and then what they do is when they tell you to open it, you open it, and then you stare at it, and then they say stop. And then when you're staring at it, they rearrange the camera. So on TV, it's probably like you're looking at it for 5 to 10 seconds. In real life, it's more like maybe a minute once they reset all the cameras because it's a TV show. They have to film it all. You're staring at it and then bam, you just start cooking. Like there's no like, here's what it is beforehand, like start coming with ideas. Like bam, on the spot, you got to think about it. In my basket, there was ground beef, tomatoes, cotton candy, and hamburger buns. Now, if I'll be honest, back then I don't think I definitely was not the cook or slash chef that I am now. So I kind of went with like very like classic what I guess everyone would do, is just making a burger. It was a bad idea. So yeah, you're kind of like in the mode. You just like open up and like, bam, what I gotta do? You have 30, was it 20 or 30 minutes? I feel like I should know this. One of those times on the clock, and you just start cooking. The other kids, they were right behind me. They were super nice. I think I was nervous that the kids would be like super mean, but they were all super nice. We were all kind of very like scared and like uncomfortable in that situation, and like so we were all kind of like together, and it was really fun. And they were really good chefs. Like I was very like I was like, wow, you know? And so yeah, I got cooking. So, you know, I was cooking the food. I think I started off by forming the hamburgers, seasoning it and everything like that. Then the hardest thing was the cotton candy. There was cotton candy and I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? I'm like, okay, I'll make a sauce. I don't think they showed it fully in the show, but I tried making a sauce like 4 to 5 times and failed every time because the cotton candy either burnt or didn't work. I ended up making some like ridiculous sauce, I think with like orange juice. Honestly, I don't even know. Whenever I watch it now, I don't watch it that often, but the few times I've seen it since, I'm just like absolutely mortified because I'm like, what was I even doing? I don't know. But I made some sauce with the cotton candy, and I think like ketchup, and then the slider bun and pickles, and then okay, let's talk about the fried tomatoes. The fried tomatoes. Anyone who saw the episode knows the fried tomatoes incident. I think I've only recently heard the end of it, but I don't think I'll ever hear the end of it. On the episode, I put sliced of tomato in my burger, but then I also fried tomatoes. But you guys know anything you do on the other side of the kitchen and Chopped always gets lost. And I was quickly plating at the end of the round, and I left all the fried tomatoes at the fryer. They made a much bigger deal of it than it really was in real life in the edit. But yes, I left the fried tomatoes there. I've never heard the end of it. Literally, I've been probably roasted in school since then about it. To this day, like if there's tomatoes, someone will be like, Eitan, you forgot the fried tomatoes. Like people love bringing it up constantly. But yeah, I forgot the fried tomatoes there. Not long story short, I guess this is the whole video. Long story long, we go up to have the judges try our food. I was like, confident to be honest. I wasn't like, oh, I got this in the bag. Definitely not. The main criticism that I got from the judges was that it was under-seasoned, which makes sense since I couldn't actually try any of the food, and that I wasn't super creative with all the ingredients, which also makes sense because the tomatoes were in the fryer, and in my hamburger I just put a slice of it because I figured like I put a slice in there and the fried ones, but I left those off, so that was the main criticism. You go in the green room, which is like that room you sit in while the judges are talking. They like show little clips of you guys usually fighting, but we were all just like super excited to be there, so we were just talking. It was a lot of fun. And then it is chopping time. I'm getting too close to the camera. It's chopping time. So we go in there, and to be honest, when I walked up there, I kind of already knew that I was being chopped because in the green room, all the producers and like people on set, they have earpieces, and I kind of heard one of the earpieces say like bring in Eitan to a room where they interview you about how you think it's gonna go, and I kind of knew they only show those for the people that lose, and I kind of like, I don't know exactly, but I remember hearing something and I was like, oh, like I kind of realized I didn't win before. So I kind of like was going into this walking up to the judges where you stand before they chop someone, and I kind of like had a feeling just from that whole interaction. And then, you know, as per usual, Ted Allen goes, what's the line? I'm gonna look up the line. I should know this. Okay, give me a second. Oh my god, it's been so long. I honestly forgot. Okay, so he first puts his hand on the huge dome covering the food, lifts it up, and then I just see my food there, and he goes, Eitan, you've been chopped. And it's like, boom, it hit me very hard, even though I kind of already knew. I was like 11 then, so you know, like the eyes start watering, like I'm like, I could barely, like, I'm like choking up and everything. The judges like tell you like why you're chopped, and you're just standing there and you're like, I don't want to hear anything, can I just go away? And then you walk off, and then you walk down that like dreaded hallway. You know, like you always see after someone's chopped, they walk down this hallway and the camera's in front of them following them. So there's a dude with a Steadicam camera who follows in front of you, so you're like walking like super sad, and there's just a camera right in front of you following you, and you walk off to the side, and then they do like an immediate interview where they interview you for those headshots. And yeah, I was really sad, I'll be honest. It really crushed me after I lost. I kind of thought the world was over. I remember I actually didn't get to see my mom right away because you have to do your interviews first because they want to obviously capture your raw emotion for the show, because you know, emotions sell on TV. And yeah, I eventually saw my mom. I was like probably sobbing. I mean, I think I was like very embarrassed that I was crying, but like I was 11 years old, so who could blame me? And yeah, and then towards the end of it, actually, let me show you guys a picture. Let me show you a picture. I have this picture on my wall. I need to show you guys. This is a picture. Technically, the person was not allowed to do this, but they probably don't even work at Chopped anymore, so it's like I'm getting them fired. I was in the green room doing my interviews right over here, as you can see, kind of crying, and then I just had spoken to one of the producers who kind of cheered me up, and they took this picture of me. So this was right after I was chopped. That was a genuine smile because I realized it was gonna be okay. As you can see, check that out. There's little Eitan. This has actually been hanging on my wall ever since that day. I just like, it reminds me like to stay happy. Even in bad times, happiness. So yeah, so we do all the interviews. I was chopped. I kind of calmed down the rest of the day. I think I stayed on set for most of the day anyways, because the interviews for each round take like 2 to 3 hours, just kind of sitting there, and a producer who took notes on every step that you did asked you a ton of questions. And yeah, then we left the set, and that's when I kind of broke down. We walked out of Chelsea Market. I just remember I was with my mom, and I kind of just like collapsed onto the floor crying in the middle of public. I feel like it all kind of just crashed down at once, like the realization like, okay, I just lost on Chopped on the Food Network. That's going to be on television to like everyone in the world to see. Well, not everyone in the world, everyone in the country, because I don't think they showed in the world. Yeah, it was like not, that was a low. I was really sad. My mom cheered me up. I think we got like Indian food probably, because that always makes me happy. But at that point, it kind of felt like the world was over. After we filmed that episode, I would say it was about probably 6-7 months until it actually aired on the Food Network. It aired on September 30th, 2014. That night, we decided to throw a big party at my house. We got cakes, we had tons of food made. There was a huge poster from a cooking demo that I did at a local store, and it was kind of a party. I invited all my friends over, tons of family, even my principal came, and we all watched it, and it was really great to be able to watch the episode with all my friends and family. Now, I obviously was very nervous because we threw this whole party. There was so many people there to just celebrate the fact that I got on the Food Network. But just me and my immediate family knew that I lost and was out in the appetizer round. So it was a little bit awkward because we're all watching it, and then like it cuts to commercial before they chopped on the appetizer round, and then it turns back on and I was chopped. And I was honestly kind of terrified, like a little bit. I was very excited but very terrified, like what would everyone think? Obviously especially when you're 11, but in general, you always kind of think worst case scenario, like, oh, everyone's gonna make fun of me, like people aren't gonna talk to me anymore, I'm done with cooking, like I'm never doing this again. But I kind of put that to the side, and in the end, everyone was super supportive. All my friends gave me a big hug after. Everyone was just extremely supportive. And then instead of taking this loss and turning it into a loss, what I did is I took this loss and turned it into the biggest success of my life. I really believe that losing is just if you give up after something happens. Like if you fall down and you don't get back up, that's losing. But if you fall down and you get back up, then you did not lose. So in my opinion, yes, I lost on Chop, but in the grand scheme of things, I did not lose. I took that as an opportunity to take my cooking that was a hobby and turn it into a career. It's 5 years now since then, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, and since then I've done cooking demos and classes all around the country, been featured by tons of news outlets. I started a weekly food blog that I've been keeping up, except for like the past month or two because of college applications. Should I make a video about that, by the way? Let me know. I've weekly food blog, started a YouTube channel, grew over 125,000 followers across different social media. I've spoke at Instagram just last week at Facebook's headquarters for an Instagram event with the CEO and met Mark Zuckerberg. Like, things are going pretty well. So yeah, in my opinion, I did not lose the situation, and I kind of like my big message with this whole situation with Chopped is if you ever lose at anything, whether it's a sports game, whether it's any type of competition, maybe you go on a Food Network show or some television show, take that loss and turn it into a success, because I promise you, no one is gonna remember. I mean, people remember, but no one's gonna care that you lost. People only care with what you did with that. The other kids who were on the Chopped episode, they just happened to have chosen not to use it to do anything. They really just saw it as a hobby, I guess. But I took that and turned it into this whole career that I hope to be doing for the rest of my life, and to be quite honest, a lucrative career. And hopefully I'll be doing it, as I said, for the rest of my life and keep expanding. So yeah, that is a story of the truth about competing on Chopped. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you have any more questions, comment them down below and I'll answer in the comments as many questions as I can. And what other videos do you want to see? I also was at Guy's Grocery Games, which is a crazy story about how I know Guy Fieri. Let me know if you want to make a video about that. All right, this was fun. I think I covered it all. Alrighty. If you haven't already, be sure to click that big red subscribe button so you're the first to know when I post new videos. Hit that like button if you enjoyed watching, and like I said, comment down below any questions, comments, or anything. Yeah. All right. See you in the next video. Bye.